everyone, we're going to verify trig identities part 10. It's similar to part 9. Anytime you see something like this where they're the same, what you're going to do is put this together and multiply by the conjugate. And you don't know if you're going to multiply the numerator or the denominator by the conjugate, so I'm going to kind of rewrite this. This is 1 over cosine plus sine over cosine. So we have 1 plus sine over cosine here is what we really want. And since the simpler part is in the denominator, that's what I'm going to multiply the conjugate by. So basically, I'm going to write this again. 1 plus cosine of theta plus sine over 1 plus cosine of theta minus sine. Alright, so I'm multiplying the denominator by the conjugate, because this is simpler. So you write 1 plus cosine of theta plus sine. And whatever you do in the denominator, you also have to do in the numerator, which makes the numerator very complicated when you FOIL this out. And it's just like part 10. So just remember, this first part's going to be your a plus b squared part, and the denominator is going to be your a squared minus b squared part, where this is your a and b, and this is your a and b. Okay? Same with the denominator. So taking care of the numerator, which is the hard part, we're going to get, FOIL it out, and you get 1 plus 2 cosine of theta plus cosine squared of theta plus 2 sine theta times 1, this is your AB part, 1 plus cosine of theta plus sine squared of theta. Alright, and the denominator is going to be 1 plus 2 cosine of theta plus cosine squared of theta minus sine squared of theta. Now on the next slide, I'm going to go ahead and write this. Okay, well, I'm just going to write this as 1 minus cosine squared of theta. The reason I'm doing that is because I noticed that this right here is cosine, so I want everything in terms of cosine. So just fixing up the denominator here. I'm not doing the numerator yet. You get 1 plus 2 cosine of theta plus cosine squared of theta minus 1 plus cosine squared of theta. So what happens when I'm right on the next slide is the ones will cancel, and you're going to get 2 cosine of theta plus cosine squared of theta. So that's just the denominator. So that's what I'm going to put on the next slide. So I'm going to fix up the numerator now, and I have, let me see here. I know that cosine squared plus sine squared is 1. So I'm going to write this 1 plus 1. I'm going to go ahead and put the 1 in front here. So 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. And I'm also going to do that on the next slide. So we're going to have 2 plus 2 cosine of theta plus 2 sine of theta times 1 plus cosine of theta. That's with me just go ahead and adding those 2 ones there. And then I'm going to go ahead and write my new denominator. Okay, at this stage, what I'm going to do is use my greatest common factor, and I'm going to take this part and factor out a 2. And I get 1 plus cosine of theta plus 2 sine of theta times 1 plus cosine of theta. Now that I have these are the same, I can factor by grouping. I'm not dealing with my denominator yet. I'll do that in a minute. So I can group these two together. So I get 2 plus 2 sine of theta times 1 plus cosine of theta. And before I even move on to the denominator, I'm going to go ahead and factor out the 2. So I get 2 times 1 plus sine of theta, and go ahead and copy my 1 plus cosine of theta. Now for the denominator, so we're back to here. For my denominator, I'm going to go ahead and factor out 2 cosine. And when I do that, I'm going to get 1 plus cos of theta. Now what happens here is these two cancel, my 2's cancel, and I have 1 plus sine of theta over cosine of theta, which is our desired result. But if you have to write exactly like they gave it to you, I'm just going to write cosine under each piece in the numerator. And we know that this is secant, and we know this part is tan, which is our desired result. Okay? Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.